My name is Hame Persaud. I've been a medical practitioner since 1969. So in my general practice, I've learned many things. I'm humbled by the patients that I've seen, and I've learned quite a lot. As a result of that, I have been able to write a book, or to have a book published in the year 2000, and there were 2,000 copies of this book. Of course, being who I am, I must have given away 1,000 to my patients and friends, and I was able to barely cover my costs with the other 1,000 that I sold. But basically, what I am conveying here is a book or a set of information on healthy life. I find that this is the key to helping patients who are diabetics, hypertensives, overweight, have arthritis, maybe simple communicable diseases, maybe simple coughs and colds. So as we roll on, I will convey more as to my methodology. The book, A Renewed You, as the name of it, highlights 3 aspects of life, which, these aspects help the patients to get completely better or nearly completely better. Since the root of a lot of my patients' problems are not necessarily physical, so there may be a mental problem, there may be a spiritual problem. So I will go into a little description of what I mean by spiritual. Spiritual healing or spiritual well-being involves counting one's blessings, positive prayers and meditation, regular church or temple or whatever spiritual group or group spiritual practice. It happens that these simple things can relate to any patient. Doesn't matter what race, what background the patient comes from. So let's go step by step. Counting one's blessings, not difficult for a patient to understand, because we have a lot to be thankful for. Then positive prayers and meditation may be a little bit more something that is learned. Simple ones that I mentioned to the patients, which everybody knows what you call the universal prayer. It's like, for thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Relating to the 4 stresses. That is, for thine is the kingdom, by your grace, O Lord, I am prosperous. The power and the glory, by your grace, O Lord, I am strong. I am healthy despite the other aspects of my life. Forever and ever, the Lord within me sees the Lord within you. Amen. By your grace, O Lord, I am wonderful. So simple, but yet very effective. And for meditation, I teach the patients once a week on let go, let God. Simply sitting for 20 minutes. It does a lot. It's just a matter of practice. And finally, if a person cannot count, cannot pray, cannot meditate, cannot find time to go to any group to do a communal or congregational worship, then simply being with families, which I find very helpful in our friends and my families in Israel and in Jamaica here. We find that this group, togetherness, has a lot of therapy, even without knowing anything about God or the Almighty. So this takes a great impact, it makes a great impact on the patient's life, because most people are wrapped up with their personal problems, and it becomes very stressful. So the next aspect of our management, which is on a positive thinking. So let's say the first section was on faith. This section is on hope. Hope is involving love and forgiveness, peace and prosperity, health and harmony. Now what I have done, since I wish for patients to remember, I use love and laughter, peace and prosperity, health and harmony, and it fits beautifully, because a love that is necessary for people to heal, rather than hate, which sends up the blood pressure. Hatred or fear would be considered the opposite to love. Laughter, the opposite is sadness. So overcoming sadness, which involves past guilt, present anxiety, and future uncertainty, these are definitely destructive to a person's healing. Then comes peace. Peace, of course, is the opposite to war or uncomfortableness. You are distressed, you are tossing and turning in bed, you have no peace of mind. Then comes prosperity. Prosperity opposite is poverty. And of course we know that poverty is one of the big issues with patients all over the world. One of the big issues of overcoming and coping with. And finally, health and harmony. Health is the opposite of disease or disease. And finally, harmony, opposite of it is discord. So imagine if you have a disease or not ease about your health, then obviously it will make matters worse. If one is anxious to get better, or if you have a discord or disharmony at home, which will obviously affect the patient or the well-being and the response. So my suggestion is to develop a positive mental attitude which will give hope. So love and laughter, peace and prosperity, health and harmony, these are my passwords for getting better. Well, the next section, which is charity, remember we said faith, we had hope, and now charity begins at home. Most people do not take care of themselves properly. And when you hear these 7 pointers, you will agree with me that it is important to eat right. One of the big things in healthy return or return to normalcy will be to learn to eat right in quantities, etc. Exercise regularly. This is one of the big pluses in rehabilitation. Next one is sleep. So we have eating right, exercise, sleep for 8 hours, work for 8 hours, play for 8 hours, dental care, and sunshine. These are 7 yardsticks or key from a physical point of view, which is called charity that begins at home. I will deal with one at a time. The first one, of course, eating right, involves a lot of things to do with diet, with management of diabetes, for instance, and overweight. It has been recently established that taking more and more medications, including insulin or metformin or diabetes or conventional treatment, the more and more we take is the more and more we need, because the body becomes more, it's more adjusted, it's more involved with a resistance. We call it insulin resistance. More and more insulin we give. So when we eat right, instead of stuffing more and more medications, we cut back on the amount of eating and call it fasting, call it bariatric surgery, call it what you will. People have tried and successfully been able to remove the need for insulin. So it's an important aspect, eating right, learning to eat a balanced meal, a starch, protein, vegetables, 1 fruit per day or a little bit more, water, and adequate nutrition where it comes to the fat and lipids department. So that's from eating right. The next section I discuss with is exercise. You may eat comfortably, but if you're lacking exercise in today's world, we have too many sedentary activities. Before my great-grandfather or my grandfather came out of the jungle, we used to swing on trees and ropes. But now we have gotten motor car, we have gotten lots of facilities for sitting and doing things without moving. So we have become lazy. So simple exercises I recommend, like squats, skipping, marching on the spot, walking for 15 minutes. Simple things that will help the patient. So that's number 2. Number 3, sleep. It has been found that sleeping for 8 hours helps patients to lose weight. Lack of sleep causes an increase of stress, which of course by extrapolation, if you're only sleeping for 4 hours in 24 hours, it means that you're working for 20 hours. So your steroids, adrenaline help to push up your weight or create a lot of disturbance internally. The next one is the work for 8 hours. Adequate work, sufficiently done, efficiently done, can be of great benefit to anyone, but it's just a matter of efficiency and work ethics that will help. Of course, I encourage my patients who are going to the university or who have extended work to go an extra 4 hours, for proper planning and management and extension for the sake of, perhaps you got to say, efficient management. And instead of 8 hours, and you get 8 hours sleep, you still have 4 hours to play with. That comes in the next department, playing for 8 hours or relaxation for 8 hours. There are 10 talents that I tell my patients about, which is smiling, laughing, praying, meditation, appreciation of beauty, music, vigorous exercise, body care, rest, and give God thanks. These are incorporated within the 4 hours that is allotted or can be extended depending on your holidays, etc. So my take on it, these are lifestyle changes which are absolutely necessary to get the patients better. Most patients are wrapped up mentally with their problems. And finally, sunshine and dental care. These are very, very important, maybe seeming simple. I have found recently that people who have simple dental infections or dental scales or simple plaques can transmit bacteria to the kidneys. And as a result of that, the blood pressure shoots up with pyelonephritis being seen by me at postmortems that I did 7 years during my early years as a medical practitioner. So I know the significance of the importance of dental care to keep away these plaques, keep away these infections which can lodge anywhere. My professor at the university, an English gentleman, he said that if you see a little boil on your face, check your teeth. If you have no other source of infection, make sure you have the commonest source would be simple dental infections. And of course, you know the significance of sunshine. Sunshine is absolutely necessary for many important issues like bone strength, skin beauty, of course, certain fair skin, fair complexion people are advised not to be overexposed because of the incidence of skin cancer in those patients. So my simple take on the matter, this is a brief summary of the book that I've written, and I would love to just show the front page of the book, the cover of the book, which is called A Renewed You, and the sort of format that it has, which is a description done by my daughter at the university, which is a mural. So this mural description is an excellent way of saying that we appreciate nature, and I appreciate my family for helping me in the production of the book. All right, thank you. Ready? Well, to climax what I've been trying to say in this Renewed You book that I've written, I normally get the patients to open up by sharing a joke, and this is one that I actually experienced. The patient came to me and he says, you know, the doctor, I'm wondering what is your diagnosis, what is wrong with me? The doctor, of course, said to him simply, you have a peculiarity. You seem to be very peculiar in your own way, you know, with your stammering. So the patient says to the doctor, well, the doctor, you have a peculiarity too. Let me ask you a question. Which hand you stir your coffee with in the morning? The doctor says, well, like any normal patient, I stir my coffee with my right hand. The patient now immediately says, well, the same damn thing I'm saying, doctor. You are very peculiar, because every morning I just stir my coffee with my spoon. Of course, the doctor had to laugh.